Number one, this is such a great time of year to be talking about the power of plants. Tell me about this initiative. What is your goal with Bloom?
Well, we're living in a time of great disconnection with plants. Plants are everywhere, yet plants are nowhere. This plant blindness is especially significant among our nation's youth. Bloom is our vibrant new youth-focused campaign, and it's designed to help young people unlock the potential of the plant world. So our goals in the process are to introduce them to a lifelong passion for plants and hopefully even a career in horticulture, which is the art, science, technology, and business of plants. And we like to call Bloom the movement to improve the world through the power of plants.
Okay. Who is behind the campaign?
The horticulture industry is behind the Bloom campaign. Bloom is powered by Seed Your Future, which is a coalition of more than 150 different partners across horticulture, including horticulture industry companies, gardening organizations, schools, colleges, universities, public gardens, and youth organizations, and other individual supporters. We're all united by our confidence in the power of plants to change the world. And so Bloom is our first major initiative, and it's youth-focused.
Okay, next. How can parents help their kids to appreciate plants and learn more about plants in horticulture?
Well, we're reaching kids both inside and outside of the classroom. So we have resources for teachers and parents and youth program leaders. So our digital hub for the campaign is called wearebloom.org, and that's where kids and families and teachers can go to get all of the great new resources that we have created. So for parents, there's lesson plans, activities, there's videos they can watch with their children to introduce them to the power of plants. There's a quiz that the kids can take, and actually adults can take as well, that are based on their own interests, so they answer the questions, and they then get to the end where they see what their own plant power is. They have a persona where they then can work with their families to see what's interesting to them across all of horticulture, and we have great resources to support that.
Okay. You claim that the average American can recognize over 1,000 brands and logos, but fewer than 10 plants in their local areas. Why is that? Have we been remiss in educating young people about the importance of plants?
This plant blindness that's been happening for a number of decades really can be attributed to a number of things, but we think that one of the main contributors is that in schools across the country, they stopped talking about plant science in third grade, and they then switched to animal science and human biology, almost never to return to talking about plants again. So teachers have been asking us for resources to help infuse plant-based concepts into what they already need to teach as a required curriculum. So in partnership with Scholastic, our digital hub has those new resources for them to fill this gap with the plant-based learning that we really think is critical for kids to be able to understand the power of plants in our world and how they can get interested in changing the world through plants.
What exactly does a horticulturist do?
So horticulture is a very diverse field. I like to say that it's everything from arborist to zoological horticulture and everything in between. There's about 100 different careers in horticulture across art, science, technology, and business. Some of the examples are people who are growing the food that's going to feed our growing world. There's people who are researching plant-based cures for diseases. They're solving some of our world's biggest environmental issues with pollution and drought and clean water and climate change, creating landscapes that aren't just beautiful but also provide physical and social and emotional health support, and even making our athletes safer by creating playing fields made out of natural grass. Some of the emerging horticulture careers that are really exciting and we think that kids will really resonate with are in the technology field. So kids who are interested in robotics, for example, we're using robots in greenhouses to be able to grow plants better and more efficiently. We're using drone technology to help assess in the field growing plants. There's hydroponics and aeroponics, which are two really cool new ways to grow more food to feed the world without soil and in very limited spaces and without sunlight. So those are some of the examples, but there's so many more. If we direct people to wearebloom.org, they can search out and see what all these examples are, and hopefully kids will get excited about what the careers are in horticulture.
What is important for kids to know about horticulture?
We want them to know that horticulture is everywhere in our world. Maybe they just haven't seen it before. We want them to understand the power of plants in our world and how they can use plants to make a difference in the future. So finding their own plant power at We Are Bloom is a great place for kids to start.
What kinds of career opportunities are we talking about for young people today as well as 10 years down the road?
We're talking about an amazing time in horticulture. There are so many opportunities and so little awareness of them. We anticipate there'll be about 58,000 jobs in horticulture expected to become available annually over the next 5 years, but only 61% of them are expected to be filled because there aren't enough qualified candidates in horticulture. So we are looking at the kinds of jobs that kids might be interested in, and what we've created are some new videos to tell them what those jobs are. We've gotten young professionals who are doing the jobs to talk about their careers, and we have other types of videos that are really connecting what kids are already into with plants and showing them what kinds of opportunities are out there. So some of the most exciting ones that are coming up are in technology. Kids who are interested in robotics and drones, there are jobs out there just waiting for them. We want all kids and families to know that this is an industry that's growing and needs workers in the future. So this is a great time to be finding out more about it.
Okay, this next one is a little repetitive, but I'll ask it nonetheless. How do you introduce kids to these new kinds of jobs and career paths that involve working with plants?
We're reaching kids both inside and outside the classroom. So we've created some terrific new content for teachers and youth program leaders and parents to use to introduce kids to the plant world. But we also have social content and great new videos. All of this can be found on our digital hub for the campaign, which is wearebloom.org. We've got some great things that are personalized for kids. For example, they start on the website with a quiz where they can answer questions based on their own interests. And then at the end of the quiz, it identifies their own personal plant power and gives them examples of jobs in horticulture that they might be interested in. So the hub itself is really where we have put all of this great new information for use both inside and outside the classroom to help kids and families understand what's the opportunity in the future.
You talk about green-collar jobs as opposed to blue-collar or white-collar. What does that mean? And can you give us some examples?
So green-collar jobs are horticulture jobs. We like to say that because it's not a white-collar or a blue-collar job. It really is working with plants. There's some terrific examples out there, everything from arborists to zoological horticulture and everything in between. There's about 100 different careers that we've identified in horticulture across the arts, science, technology, and business of working with plants. And they really range across all kinds of interests. And by the way, all sorts of educational paths that people might be interested in. So some careers require a 2 or 4 year degree. Others require maybe just a certification or a training or apprenticeship or on-the-job training. So really based on someone's interest and educational path that they desire, there is a job in horticulture for everyone.
We hear more about the resurgence of farming as a career for a number of young adults. Is this a good sign for Bloom?
It's a great sign. Farming is just one of the plant-based movements that's growing. Some of the others are the farm-to-table movement and the field to vase movement in flowers. School gardens, community gardens, all of these things are growing, but what is missing is that connectivity to the idea that there is a career at the other end, a career in horticulture that they can have. So that's what the Bloom campaign is really all about, is opening up kids' minds to the power of plants and the potential for their future in the world of horticulture, and they are our future green-collar workers.
Okay, and finally, looking down the road 10 to 15 years, does the future look very different for horticulturalists?
The future looks fabulous for horticulture. Horticulture is such a growing industry. In fact, we have a real workforce gap in horticulture, and that's one of the reasons we started this Bloom campaign. We expect over the next 5 years there'll be about 58,000 jobs every year that become available, but only 61% of them are anticipated to be filled because we don't have enough qualified applicants for these jobs. So across all of art and science and technology and business, there really is a really bright future for horticulture.